Around 3 weeks ago, I made a video explaining why the market is crashing and why this is one of the unique opportunities that everybody should take advantage of. Fast forward a few weeks later, the market entirely recovered, and whoever purchased and invested in the stock market in the last couple of weeks made a lot of money. Just take a look at the S&P 500 alone. It has fully recovered since April the 2nd, and all the losses that has been made during this period are fully recovered. In fact, I even made a video telling that tech stocks will suffer the most out of this tariff war and they will gain the most. Take an example of Meta that has grown by over 23% since its dip. So even if you invested like $10,000 into Meta during this period, you would have made $2,300. If you had a bit more cash in your pockets and you have invested $100,000 into Meta, you would have made $23,000 in less than a month. And if you're investing with big money and you threw $1 million into it, then you made in a single month or in less than a month more money than most people do in an entire year. How exactly did I know that the market will certainly recover? In fact, it will even keep growing. Did I randomly guess that? Well, absolutely not. And that's because 2025 is the easiest year to make money. There is a reason why the market crashed, there is a reason why the market did not keep crashing, and there is a very good reason why the market recovered. Some people thought that the market is going to keep crashing and it will certainly go to zero. Now, that's not happening if you know anything about the stock market. Now, if you take the entire global financial system, the United States is at the center of that global financial system, and the US markets are the largest markets in the world. The market can be divided into two categories. We have the bond market that's worth $46 trillion, and we have the stock market that's worth around $32 trillion. So most of the investors are investing their money in the bond market and the stock market. And when we say investors, we're not talking about just random investors like me who are investing with small money. We're not talking about people who are just investing a couple of millions of dollars or maybe even tens of millions of dollars. Even you, when you're paying taxes, part of your taxes directly go either into the bond market or the stock market. Wait a second, that doesn't make sense. I did not approve of my taxes to go into the stock market. Well, nobody actually asks you because we have pension funds. So pension funds are the financial institutions that are being set up by the government in order to provide you with a safe retirement. So pension funds actually take your money and they invest it either in the bond market or the stock market, and then the returns that they make out of this investments will be paying your pension. So even if you are not in the United States and you might be living in Canada, you might be from Netherlands, you might be in the UK, the pension fund in your country literally takes your taxes and invests in the stock market in the United States and the bond market in the United States. Now, generally, the bond market is way safer than the stock market, but over the last 20 to 30 years, the stock market has become much more stable and a lot of investments started going from the bond market into the stock market, because if you simply pay pension and the government is going to keep your money in the bank, over time due to inflation, that money is going to lose most of its value. And in order for us to actually provide you with a decent retirement, we have to make sure that money is invested safely, but at the same time it provides with a decent return so that we can actually provide you with the pension that you want. Pension funds are just some of the investors in the market. They're some of the largest investors, but they're just one out of many players. We have the hedge funds, we have the entire Wall Street, we have just the average investors, we have the billionaires, we have like everybody in the market. So there is a certain amount of money that is being invested into these markets. So no matter how big the crisis that we have in the market, it is not going to entirely destroy the market and the market is not suddenly going to go to zero. That is not going to happen because there is so much money being invested in the market. Well, if that's the case and so much money being invested in the stock market, why did the market crash by almost 15% in such a short period of time? When Donald Trump actually announced the tariffs, he disrupted the global trade. Countries between themselves, let's take an example of China and the United States, trade with each other. And the companies that trade with each other are being listed in the stock market. So we have Apple, Amazon, Google, TikTok, Huawei. And some of these corporations produce some of their products in one country and then sell them in a different country. And the entire global economy is integrated. And most of their stocks are being sold in the United States because the United States is the global financial hub of the world. If you want to raise money for your company, if you want to make sure that your company actually goes global and sells all across the world, then you raise your funds in the United States. When a president of the United States comes out and he starts actually coming out with those tariffs, a tariff is basically an extra tax. And when you impose an extra 5% in taxes or 7% in taxes, that's a big deal, but it's not literally that big of a deal. But when you come out and you impose a tariff of almost 250%, over the long run, there is not going to be any kind of trade between the United States and China. And that means that all of these companies are going to suffer. And if you are an investor in one of these companies, you're certainly going to sell a portion of your portfolio because that you know that those companies are going to make less money over time. At the end of the day, everything goes back to the basic principles of economics. We have on one side demand, on the other side we have supply. And if you mess around with these things, there is certainly going to be consequences. Now, every single day in the market, there is a certain amount of demand that is pushing prices higher. On the other side, there always a supply of the stocks in the market. So you have, for example, a company going public and they supply their stocks into the market. Or maybe you have a company that's already being traded in the market and they want to raise a certain amount of money and they will supply the market with a certain amount of their stocks in the market, and so on and so forth. But because the market has been actually gradually growing over the long run, you know for a fact that a demand is always more than a supply. And when you have lower demand but supply stays the same, what do you think happens to prices? Prices go down. But you always have investors on the other side who are scared and they're trying to diversify their portfolio. So they might actually sell a portion of their portfolio into the market. We're not talking about selling like 15, 20 or 30% of their portfolio. We're literally talking about selling 2, 3, 5% of their portfolio. And when you have hedge funds, when you have pension funds who are actually selling at least a small percentage of their portfolio, you have an oversupply of those stocks in the market. That drastically increases the supply of stocks in the market and you have a completely new equilibrium. And in that equilibrium, you will see a new price. And that price is much lower than the price that we had initially, which is P1. So if you understand how the market works and you understand the reasons that actually brought the demand lower and increased the supply in the market, you quickly can see the big picture and understand what is happening within the entire market and you understand how it's going to recover. Now, the question is that, well, why did the market so quickly recover? Now, to be honest, I expected that this dip is going to continue for some time. It might actually even go for at least a few months, especially when we had negative GDP growth for the first quarter of 2025. That literally sent a signal that this dip might actually go even farther and the stocks won't just collapse by 14% like it happened right now, but they might actually go as down as 18%, 19%, maybe as much as 20%. That is the perception that a lot of investors had. But suddenly, something happened that pushed stocks to actually rise dramatically. First of all, Donald Trump made it clear that he's not playing around. In fact, he wants to make a deal with China. He sent a clear signal to the world. He sent a clear message to China and to investors that I'm not here trying to destroy trade with China. I'm here trying to make a deal. But all I want is to change the rules of the game that we've been playing for the last 25 years. Because the current rules favor China much more than they favor the United States. Now, they help the United States. Let's be completely honest with each other. But they helped China much more, which allowed China to become the second world's largest economy. Secondly, corporate earnings were extremely positive. They were way better than anyone actually expected. Because of those tariffs, everybody thought that people will stop buying, people will stop spending. If you look at the consumer confidence report, it was clear that people are afraid to spend their money. And that is the worst thing that could happen within the economy. Because if people are not spending money, the economy is not growing. How does the economy grow at the end of the day? It's people buying stuff. You going to the store and buying a new iPhone. You're buying a new house. You're buying a new car. All of that spending drives the GDP growth and makes the economy even larger. And the trade war that Trump actually started pushed a lot of people to think that, well, if people will stop buying, will actually buy less things because now they're afraid to spend. Who are they buying from? They're buying from the corporations whose stocks are being traded in the stock market. Take Apple, when you buy less iPhones, less MacBooks, or let's say you buy less Coca-Cola. And when you buy less of their products, it will reflect on their earnings at the end of the quarter, which means that they made less money, which means that they made less profit, and that less profit will reflect at their stock prices in the stock market. But if you look at the corporate earnings recently, they have exceeded Wall Street expectations. The third most important reason is the jobs reports. The United States added much more jobs in April than most people expected. In fact, the US added as much jobs in April as it did back in March. Now, on the 2nd of April, the United States announced the Liberation Day and impose all of those tariffs. Now, experts and economists and investors expected that because of those tariffs, now companies will start cutting costs and they will start firing a lot of people. But the opposite has happened. They didn't actually fire as many people as people expected or as experts expected, and the United States added enough jobs. You see, when the US starts adding less jobs within the economy, what does that mean? Over time, unemployment starts rising. So we have more people within the economy who have less money, which means that spending is going to go down, which means that the economy is going to suffer, and that less spending will be reflected in the corporate earnings at the end of the quarter, which means that that will reflect in their stock prices in the market. But because we had such a strong jobs report at the end of the last month, that means that the economy is still very strong and the Trump's tariffs did not have such a negative impact as much as people expected. So these are basically the three most important reasons why the market quickly recovered way faster than most people expected. So what do we have at the end of the day? We could basically divide people into two groups. On the one side, we have people who lost money during this crash. On the other side, we have people who made money during this crash, who profited from this crash. The people who panicked, the people who did not understand how the market works, the people who did not have the right skills, they lost the money. But the people who understood the market, who knew how the market works, who could actually understand and read between the lines, those people made the right investments and right now they made a lot of money. So moving forward for the rest of the year for 2025, there are going to be plenty of opportunities just like this opportunity. And if you want to profit out of this market, then you have to master the skills first. You have to master the market first. And how do you do that? Well, that's exactly what the first link in the description of this video is for. You can literally right now go down to the description of this video, click on that link, and you will learn more about our program that will help you to do exactly that.